Happy New Year, guys. It is, wow, the 31st, the last day of 2022, about 10 a.m. I got up about 5:15 a.m. After being up until midnight, and it's my goal to get all the perks out everywhere, every place, um, hopefully by early afternoon. It's tough. There's a lot of stuff to put on there. So I just wanted to update everybody. Despite getting some of the perks out, it seems like we're still not really getting traction on this year's fundraiser. Just a couple people have contributed. So I don't really know why that is. With the perks, you have the ability to get involved in my lessons and my courses. And if you just want to do it by yourself, then you can get the courses that are just video only. And I got to be honest with you, even my technique has kind of fallen off a little bit. So as good as my technique has been, it's a little bit rusty. And like my Herbert L. Clark 90-day course, I mean, if I didn't have that, I probably would want to get something like that to really get the rust out of my fingers. So I'm thinking about the rest of you. There's got to be something that you would like to improve on your trumpet or brass playing. Could be your technique. For most people, it tends to be the range and endurance. You symphonic and principal trumpet players in the orchestras, aren't you the slight bit interested in learning how to do a little bit of the commercial lead and jazz style? Doesn't mean you got to be a jazz trumpet player. It just means you have the ability to read the music down. So these are some of the things that we have. So the way it works is if you go to the link, Indiegogo, scroll down to the perk. If you buy a perk, you will actually get that. A perk is a reward, like the course or some practice device. So you'll pay for that and you'll get that, but that money actually goes towards the donation for Trumpet Champions. That's how it works. I would like to see more people that would just make a straight out donation. I mean, the philanthropy is not about getting something for yourself. It's about giving and not expecting whoever you're helping to give something back to you. That's true philanthropy. That's how I live my life. I did a lot for animals mainly in 2022, and I don't expect any of these animals to give anything back to me. So anyway, but I realize maybe for most human beings are kind of selfish. That's just our nature. We are all kind of selfish and self-absorbed in our own worlds. But I don't know, at least once a year, it seems like some of us can break out of that and try to do something for others, knowing we're not going to get something in return. So anyway, I'm trying to plead to your philanthropic and generous side, your humanity side, that, if you don't need to get better on your horn, you don't even play that more, but you're watching this, you'd help us out a lot by making a donation to Trumpet Champions. And on the other hand, if you're a musician who would like to get better, even if you're way up the ladder as far as level goes, wow, there's still things to get better at. So anyway, that's that. I have received a couple of negative responses from this year's fundraiser. One of them I'm going to include. I'm going to be sending you guys a lot of different emails and maybe even going live later today, some videos. So this isn't it. I'm going to be working all the way up to midnight, folks, to try to make this happen. One email I'm going to screenshot it and I'll put it in just because it's kind of ridiculous. But the other one I can't because it's laced with so much profanity. In my words, in a nutshell, the one that I'm not going to put up, he's basically saying you're an a-hole. How come we have to listen to this fundraiser bullcrap again? What'd you do with all the money? Blah, 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 blah. I thought you said last year this was going to be it. So I want to address that because maybe somebody else is thinking that. Folks, are you under the impression that if I got the group together and we started rehearsing that you would never see another fundraiser from Trumpet Champions? Are you under that impression? No, we're probably going to have a fundraiser every year. That's just our goals are going to change for what we're going to need the money for. So if I had been able to get the group together and we had done a performance or two, I'm sure the coffers would be completely empty and we would have to do a fundraiser. I'm hoping the grant situation will help out with that. So a lot of you guys don't know how this works. Like I raised the money on Indiegogo, that's where you're going to contribute. But they're going to take about a 10% fee. Actually, it's 12% when you factor in the visa charges and stuff like that. So look at last year. We wanted to raise $12,500. We got in around $5,200. So we're short, folks. And I've been fronting the nonprofit with my own personal money. And so when some of the fundraising money comes in, I try to get a little bit of my money back. So this year, I got several $1,000s into Trumpet Champions, just paying for stuff. And the bank account's on zero. So it's tough. So anyway, that's that. The money goes easily. The MailChimp that you get all the mail on, that's not cheap. Look it up. Their medium plan comes to close to $1,000 a month. $1,000 a year. Paying for the website, consulting with a couple attorneys. We owe a tax franchise fee. Consulting with an accountant about this, that, and the other. I'm about ready to maybe add a board member. There's a lot of other fees that you guys don't understand or maybe you don't know about. So it's tough. It's really tough. And I've been giving money out of my personal finances, and it put me in a hole for 2021. And I already talked to one student and said I might just put a couple snapshots of my tax so you can see how I've been suffering. When I'm spending all this time with Trumpet Champions, guess what I'm not doing? I'm not practicing. I'm not really playing. I'm not really going for all the stuff for TRUMPETSIZZLE, which is my main business. And so I might just put a screenshot or two of my taxes for 2021. And I bet almost everybody looking at it, your jaw is going to fall down and crash on the floor because you're not going to believe how little I made last year in 2021. Most of the reason is I spent a lot of my time and money and effort with this Trumpet Champions. And that means I'm not working and making money. I'm doing my normal thing, which is playing and teaching. So I may put that up there for the Doubting Thomases. But yeah, so maybe some of you are thinking like that, like, hey, I thought the fundraiser was supposed to be done. How come you didn't blah, 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 blah. Well, folks, the fundraiser is never going to be done because at least once a year, we're going to be asking for your help. But unlike other nonprofits that bug you every week or every month throughout the year, did you see me or hear me or watch emails come in about bugging you for money all last year in 2022? Actually, this past year? No, I didn't. I'm not hounding people for money. I'm not going to all my students every week and every month saying, hey, can you throw a little bit to Trumpet Champions? I don't do that. I save it for the last part of the year, hoping that I could maybe weigh in on your good side, your generous side. Now, this is going out to around 40,000 people. Just look at my YouTube subscribers, almost 20 right there, 10,000 on Instagram, 10,000 give or take on Facebook and through the email roster and everything else. And I'm betting that, well, if I had to make a bet, I'd say at least half of you didn't give anything to anybody or any cause in 2022. Maybe the rest of you gave $10 or some of you rich people may have given more, but I'm betting that at least half of you didn't give anything. So now's your chance to try to do this world some good. Trumpet Champions is on the ball. I got another thing that I'm going to show you later on today. All the work I've been doing for grants, where I kind of stumbled trying to do it myself. I put up a job notice on Indeed, and guess what? We got close to 500 people that responded, and it looks like I'm going to get a handful of people that are going to be doing it on commission. That means that we don't have to pay them up front. We get the grant, and if we get the grant, the money, then I can pay them out of that. So how cool is that? So I need to show you that so you guys can see that I'm actually on the ball, that I'm working hard, and I'm trying to get this going. But don't be under the impression that that we do one final fundraiser, and this is the final fundraiser for this year. But really, do you think that going forward that we'll never have another fundraiser, especially once we have 9-10 people in the group and we're touring and there's all kinds of fees, traveling, hotels, and whatnot? I mean, we're probably going to be coming at you for fundraising, but I'm trying to keep it at only one time during the year, and that's the end of the year. So anyway, some of you might have these questions. So Anyway, I don't know what else to tell you, but I see 2023 as being very positive, mainly because we have the potential of getting a big money grant. Also, I've turned the corner on this idea about putting this medley together, hiring people to come in, make this video of a medley of what we're doing, because that's going to tilt the odds in our favor with the grant makers and the foundations once they see that. So I see a lot of positive things happen. I said the same thing last year, but last year, folks, look at what we raised. We didn't even make 50% of the 12,500. So what could I do? What could I do, folks? I mean, the professionals at my level or higher, they're not going to come in for $50. I tried that in 2020. And at the beginning of 2000, they're not going to do it. Okay? They're not going to do it. I'm not going to get someone to travel from Dallas to Waco or to Austin, spend 2 hours going to rehearsal, 2 hours driving back. Even people that live locally, they're just not going to do it. Okay? They're not going to do it. You have to pay them something decent, and that's got to be in the $200 to $300 range. At least for a performance. So, I mean, you just do the math. I mean, $300 times 9, that's almost $3,000. Last year we raised around 5,000, but a good chunk of the fees were taken out for Indiegogo. And then we have the basic operating expenses for this nonprofit. Didn't leave any table scraps to give anybody, at least anybody that's good, to try to get in the band. I'm serious about that. So it didn't work out. Now, if last year we had got to the 12,500, maybe I wouldn't be talking quite so desperately like I am right now, because maybe we'd still have several thousand in the bank, and we would have already done a couple of things with the group. But we didn't make the 12,500 last year. We made just shy of 5,000. But remember, a good part of that was taken out for fees. At least I want to say $700 or $800 was gone immediately. And not to mention other stuff. So it's tough. It's tough. Anyway, so this is kind of my response to the idiot that basically started off like, "Hey, I thought you were done with the fundraising. You said it was all going to be fine. Everything's going to be hunky dory. Blah blah blah. Last year that was going to be it. But yet you're hounding us for more money." So I'm giving a lot of my own personal money to the nonprofit. Actually, the nonprofit is almost me, because I'm giving most of my income, and then I'm losing income because I'm not spending the time I need to keep Trumpet Sizzle going, and it's just tough. But I may put a screenshot of some of my taxes so you can see how little I made last year. It's kind of embarrassing. That's because I'm every chance I get, I'm spending time with trumpet champions, whether it's talking to somebody for 45 minutes on the phone about possibly auditioning. Or talking to grant makers. It's a time alligator. Anyway, so this is just a recap. I'm going to take a small break. I'm going to go back to putting up the perks. We got rim buzzing, lead pipe buzzing. We got courses to improve your technique, your range, help you learn how to play first trumpet in a commercial setting. If you're a comeback player, breast support, we got it all. And you can get something for yourself if that's the way you're thinking, but it would turn into a donation for Trumpet Champions. And for the rest of you, I used to live in San Francisco, and you can see some of my videos. If I went up to a homeless person in San Francisco, at the end of the day, a lot of them have $80, $100 on them. Do you know that? So, man, to think that a normal person that works, even a minimum wage job, that can't contribute $100 today for Trumpet Champions, is just that's kind of unbelievable, really. A homeless person almost could, if they had to, and I think everybody else is able to. They're able to do it. Now we're almost too late. I think we are too late for me to say, well, just give what you can. So if you give $10 or $20, and we only have how much left do we have today before we're done? I don't think that's going to cut it, because we need about 500 to 1,000 of you to give $20 or $30. That's not going to do it. I don't know how much you can give, but it has to be more than 10 or 20 or $30. That's just not going to help out. I hate to say that. Again, if things were different and we'd already had 400 or 500 of you contribute, then I would say that would be fine. But we don't have 400 or 500 of you contributing, so we're down to the wire. We need a bigger contribution than just $20 or $30. Let me take a breath, let it go, take a small break, and then I'll get back to putting the perks. You're going to hear from me later. You're going to hear from me all the way up until midnight. I'm just going to be like Jerry Lewis and keep going. And boy, I sure hope that we can get something going with the amount that we're fundraising, because right now it's pitiful. So anyway, let your heart tell your mind what to do today, and not your mind tell your heart. I think all of the 40,000 of you that are watching, all of you could put in $100 today, and it wouldn't kill you. Maybe a couple it might, but really, it's such a low amount. I think all of you could do that. I think some of you can do quite a lot more than that, and it's really going for a good cause. In case you didn't know, I also have added underserved communities to the Trumpet Champion mission. So we're going to be going into possibly senior centers, nursing homes, more rural areas once we get the money to perform. Of course, impoverished, lower socioeconomic areas. So, and that includes the kids and maybe poor school districts. So we've added that. So we're not just going to be playing for the general public and for rich schools and stuff like that. We're going to be trying to hit all bases here, from people that would never see a group like ours all the way up to people that may have seen something similar. So anyway, yeah, we're really trying to do the right thing here. Happy New Year. You'll hear from me later. Please contribute now. Please give something.